Hello and welcome back to You Are the Masterpiece podcast, where we are always encouraging you and say that, hey, you do not have to be perfect as long as you are taking the effort. And we are all the work in progress and the masterpieces at the same time. So you do not have to be, better or be smarter or to work harder. Just accept yourself where you are on this beautiful life journey and know that good things are always available to you if you choose to focus on good. And if this is the first time you are tuning in to this podcast, my name is Irina Portnova, and I'm a manifestation star because I manifested so many great things. And that's what I teach you to do consciously without effort and with joy and more fun. And I'm here today with my dear guest, Kayleigh. Kayleigh, thank you so much for coming. And just tell a little bit about yourself and what you're doing in this world.
Yeah, so first of all, what an introduction. I second that we are all a work in progress, and that in itself is the masterpiece. No matter what work you've done or are doing, we are always a work in progress and always aiming to be, even if it's just 1% better each day, and that in itself is the masterpiece. So a little bit, just briefly about me. I am a mindset and wealth energetics coach, and my passion is really helping women specifically to understand that they can have whatever version or vision of life that they desire, and they can have that with ease, with flow, with an open mind and an open heart and curiosity to live their version of their wealthiest life in every single area. When I say wealth, I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about everything. And yeah, that's, it comes from a bit like you said, Irina, you've manifested all of these amazing things in your life. And my passion comes from realizing at quite a young age that I was able to have all of these things with ease. And with that came sometimes guilt and sometimes questioning of myself. And as I grew older and as I navigated through my own journey, I realized, no, it's okay to be able to have all of these things with ease. It's okay to have more and more and more and multiply my wealth and my joy and my ease and my flow without having to feel guilt or without having to attach a worthiness to that it was okay to just be in my self-leadership and show up as the best version of me and allow that to be the thing that I exchange in order for myself to expand, be that financially or in love, in relationships, in, every area, holistically in wealth.
I love what you shared. And today, obviously, we are talking more about money, as I just wanted to remind everybody that you are one of my amazing speakers on this beautiful masterclass series that are
Yes.
happening right now. And I just wanted to encourage everybody, if you haven't registered yet, this is your time to register because you do not want to miss these interviews. Even we are already on the day 10th, but I can guarantee you there are so many great things that you can still learn, like even attending one interview, listening to one interview, to the tools, to the tips, claiming the gifts. And this is something that can actually start something different in your life where you are looking at a different path. And that is going to open up a lot of opportunities for yourself. So please register. There is a link in this description. Register and come and experience for yourself, because I always say, do not reject anything what you have not tried. Once you try it, then you can confidently say, you know what? I tried it, I tested, it didn't work out for me. And that's absolutely okay. But we invite you, just join in and have fun, because the speakers, the wisdom, and the gifts are amazing. This is something that you do not want to miss. And let's just dive in into this topic, money mindset mastery,
Yes.
because I just like I just want to go back to what you mentioned when you said that like we were raised to know that you have to work hard, and that's the only way you will receive. And sometimes we couldn't even put together, like, how can we receive with ease if we know that everything has to be hard and struggle, right? And
Absolutely.
now we are just coming out, right? We are just coming out to say, no, it doesn't have to be this way. And
Hmm.
we are actually relearning. How can it be differently, right? That's why the mindset is everything, because what we are doing with this work, we are setting our minds to think differently. So when we think differently, we feel differently, and we act differently, and we produce different results.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, I've lost count of the amount of women that I've spoken to, business owners and men too, that think the problem with their business or think the problem with their income is their strategy, or they haven't got the promotion and that's the issue. And the reality of the situation is, as you said, it's in our mindset. We are so innately programmed that hard work equals success, that if we're not working hard, if it doesn't feel like a struggle, if it doesn't feel like a hustle, then we're not going to be compensated the way we want in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's just not the case. And you know our money mindset is often something that is so often overlooked, but the beliefs that we have around money and our ability to make it are literally shaping our actions without us realizing it. The
Mm-hmm.
idea, if we believe we have to work hard to earn money, then we'll always experience struggle. We
Mm-hmm.
create that if we believe that we're not good enough or we need another qualification. We'll be constantly seeking validation through qualifications or what other people think of us. you know
Mhm.
a really big one that I see a lot is, more money, like money makes people evil, or money turns people into not very nice people. And the truth is, if you hold that belief, then of
Mhm.
course you're going to sabotage, because you don't want to become a bad person. So your that belief shows up in the way that you behave and the way that you interact with money, and you basically repel it. If you do bring it in, you spend it quicker than you make it, because you hold this belief, when the reality of the situation is money can only amplify what is already amazing about you. The
Mhm.
more money you have, the more resources you have to spread your amazingness to even more people. And that ability to master your money mindset really can be the one thing that's standing in between you and the ease of more money flow, the ease of more wealth. So it's a topic that I could talk forever about, because it is
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
important to understand
Yes.
how it can have such a hold on us without us even realizing.
I love what you touch, and I want to go deeper on that, because a lot of times people say, like, even when I'm talking on the consults, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you know what? I know it." But
Hmm.
there is a difference between knowing and doing, and what we call embodying it, right?
Yeah.
Embodying it, it's actually feel with every cell of your body that this is the life that you want to live. This is the person, right? Because we are constantly, like, going through evolution,
Yeah.
and our DNA is spiral. That means that, our spirit also wants to grow, wants to evolve,
Hmm.
wants to do more, right? To
Yeah.
experience more. And it's like not to deny the truth and just connect to that. And for a lot of people, it's like, okay, I know it. But if you know it, your results would show it. So it's the same way as I would say, okay, I watch this, like, dance beautiful shows, and I know how to dance. No, you do not know until you actually step on that, dance
Yeah.
ball, until you have the instructor who is going to teach you how to do it, until you practice, right? Because
Yeah.
again, look at all these champions. They do not stop practicing after they win the championship. What happens? They keep going, they keep
Yeah.
improving, they keep becoming better. So the same applies, because this is all we are talking about, the energy. What we are directing our energy at, that's exactly how we are going to see the results showing up. So the same theory, it's not anything different. It's just because people do not see anything tangible at the moment, they are the ones to quit or doubt it or anything else. But we just gave you like a real simple example. Anything what you want to learn requires the skill, right?
Yeah.
And that skill is going to be developed when you have the structure of support, and when you are actually training yourself. The more you train yourself, the better you become at it. So that's exactly
Yeah.
what happens with the mindset. Mindset is not something that, okay, I believe, but then if we are not practicing it, when we are not applying it correctly, if we are not taking actions, because a lot of times there is that misconception that, okay, I can see that I will believe into that, but they are not putting any work to that, and it's not working like that,
Mhm.
right? Because it just
Yeah.
kind of, when we talk about success, success is your mindset, your skill set, and your inspired action. That's exactly what creates that success result.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I totally agree with everything that you said, because one of the things that I say a lot and I repeat a lot is knowing the problem doesn't solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But even deeper than that, knowing what you want your mindset to be,
Mm-hmm.
knowing the practices that you put into play every day also doesn't solve the problem. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be ready. You can do all of the mindset work. You can do the journaling, you can do the affirmations, you can do the gratitude, you can do all of those things. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, am I
Mm-hmm.
embodying all of these things that I say I believe? Because if
Mm-hmm.
you're not, those old energetic patterns are just going to keep repeating themselves, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's hustle, overgiving, undercharging, the feast and famine cycle, which I see so often, living like paycheck to paycheck and ending every month on zero. Like, those patterns aren't random. They're
Mm-hmm.
patterns created in your body to keep you safe
Mm-hmm.
based on just outdated information. So you're so right. It's the aligned action, it's who you're being, it's what you energetically embody and align yourself with. And
Mm-hmm.
you can be doing all of the right things, but if you're still taking that action from a place of fear, from a place of pressure, from a place of somebody told me this is what I should do, you're
Mm-hmm.
still going to end up exhausted, resentful. But if you can learn with the guidance of somebody else how to truly connect your energy and your identity with gratitude, with flow, with joy and abundance, that's when the actions that you take become magnetic. That's when you start to see everything that you do return the appropriate you know
Mhm,
feedback, because
mhm,
there's a difference between forcing hustle action and self-led momentum. And you can have two people, one person that's stuck in hustle, that's working 15 hours a day, and one person that's coming from a place of alignment, of joy, that's working 15 hours a day, and
mhm,
the results are going to be different. This person is going to feel tired, exhausted, resentful. They're going to feel like they don't have any energy for anything. But this person who's operating from a place of alignment and just just energetically coming from that place of abundance, they can put in 15 hours and still feel energized and
Mm-hmm.
know that what they're doing is coming from that place, and they won't have to continue putting in that 15 hours. Maybe they'll do it once every few months when they get a moment of inspiration, versus
Mm-hmm.
the hustle of, I need to constantly do this in order to keep having that energetic exchange.
Absolutely. And I love what you share, because what comes to my mind is, again, people are searching for the proof.
Mhm.
But if I invite everybody to go back and connect with something that you wanted in your life, even though you did not know how it's going to play out, you decided to do it. And
Mhm.
you were successful at that, right? Because
Yeah.
our mind is programmed just to look at, okay, it's not going to work. I'm just going to fail, right? And that's exactly what that mindset is all about, reprogramming our
Mhm.
mind. And I remember this instance from my, personal experience. I always was jumping from work to work every couple of years, because I always wanted to raise in income wise. And I knew if I'm going to be at the same place for too long, nothing is going to happen. And then when I had my daughter, I was when I was pregnant, I was having this very bad morning sickness, to the point that I couldn't even work because I was nauseous. I couldn't drive or anything. So I decided to take the step back from work, and I was home till I had the baby, and then until she was 9 months old. So my mom, God bless my mom, she could take over to watch my baby so I can go back to the workforce. And
Mm.
Kaylee, that's where everything started, because I was, I was in accounting field, and I'm going to this recruiter, and she told me, "Well, you had a break in your service." And I said, "Yes, I do know that I have the break in the service." And she said, "You cannot ask for more money. You would be lucky if you receive something what you was making at your last job, right?" And again, at that moment, even though I wasn't doing any inner work, even though I wasn't aware of it, but it was like that inner knowing, like, this is
Mhm.
crap, right? So
Yeah.
I was just like, I told her, okay, thank you, because she wanted to offer me the position, and I said, no, I'm not going to take it for the money that I did not want to. And again, it took me a while, but when I received two offers for the
Yeah.
money that I wanted. And what I just wanted to demonstrate with this example is, we want, like, sometimes we are so scared with that scarcity mindset that we are just
Mm.
grabbing everything that comes our way, because we
Yeah.
feel like nothing better is there. But
Absolutely.
sometimes, yeah, we know that good things take time. And
Mhm.
the more we learn to lean on, the more we learn to just stand our ground and do not lower our standards, the more we realize that at the end of the day, we receive exactly what we want and more.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And what you're talking about there is the difference between believing something is possible and
Mm-hmm.
knowing with absolute certainty. When
Yep.
you know with absolute certainty that you are worth a certain amount, or you are worth the ease of whatever it is you want to bring in,
Mm-hmm.
the saying no to the misaligned opportunities becomes easy, because you know with certainty.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we often talk about building belief, and with money mindset, it's improving your beliefs around money. But what you're talking about there is one step even deeper, is cultivating that certainty. And when I think about my own journey and my own experience, that's exactly what I had before I even realized I had it. I left
Mm-hmm.
the UK at 18, certain that I wasn't going to live a life that was being prescribed to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, that I'm not doing it. It's not for me. There's got to be more out there. And pretty much my whole life, until I hit my early 30s, I would say, I quit jobs that didn't feel aligned when things started going the way that I didn't like. I moved countries. I just because I was certain, so
Mm-hmm.
100% certain that I was always going to be okay, that the universe was always going to allow me to live the life and the lifestyle that I wanted to live. And so that was the case. And
Mm-hmm.
what happened and what I see in a lot of my clients happened to me. I hit my early 30s and I started to let the narratives of society creep in. I started
Mm-hmm.
to buy into, I better get serious and have a serious career. I can't, carry on living this, life of freedom. At some point it's going to catch up with me. And so I started buying into that. And a couple of years in, that was the big turning point for me when I realized, hang on a minute, I actually had it right all of these years. And if
Mm-hmm.
I can just find that again, find that certainty,
Mm-hmm.
rewire my subconscious to not just kind of override. I would say what I did as an 18-year-old was run away. I was
Mm-hmm.
running away from all of the things that I didn't want. And
Mm-hmm.
eventually you can't keep running. Like, it catches up with you eventually. And that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
All of
Mm-hmm.
those narratives caught up with me and I started internalizing them. What I
Mm-hmm.
did this time was I started running towards what I did want. I finally understood what I did want in life. And
Mm-hmm.
when I started running towards that, that's a new level of certainty. And now nobody else's narrative and nobody else's opinion can even touch me,
Totally.
because I'm so certain in what I'm going towards, rather than what I created, from 18 to early 30s was running away. And it served me really well. And looking
Absolutely.
back and knowing what I know now with all of my studies into mindset and neurology and energetics, now I understand what I was doing back then.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like taking, as you say, we've all experienced that. And sometimes we can go like even further back, like right back to our childhood. And how easy is it as a child in a lot of cases to get what we want?
Totally.
We just know what we want, we ask for it. And for the majority, not all, I know, but for the majority of kids in the majority of situations, they end up getting what they wanted. They have a
Mm-hmm.
birthday present list, they have a Christmas present list, they
Right.
ask for what they want and it's delivered.
They receive. Yes, absolutely. So this is just I love that conversation. And just to put into perspective. And again, a lot of times it's hard to do it on our own.
Yeah,
That's why we want to be in the space of like-minded people, because
absolutely.
if we do not believe in ourselves, we want to be with somebody who believe in our belief, right? Because
Yeah,
again, us coming as coaches, as mentors, we know that it works because we are the proof, living
yeah,
experience of what's possible, right? So it's
100%.
easy for us to hold the energy for somebody who is just stepping into that path, or somebody who did not yet experience the results. But we
Yeah,
can definitely say that it's all possible. And yes, there is
yeah,
required inner work. But once you do that inner work, the experience is so rewarding, because again, you are shaping up the entire life, and
yeah,
it's worthy of some time of resistance, some time of, like maybe tears, or maybe just, like some fears. But
yeah.
everything comes, right? But everything come, you do come on the other side. And that other side is something that you would never give up for anything once you experience it, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely, 100%. It's they say, don't they, choose your hard, You
mhm.
can yeah, it's hard and it can be confronting to finally say, no, I'm done with this mindset and it's time to build one that works for me instead of one that's trying to keep me in this false kind of feeling of safety.
Mhm.
Um, but I would rather do that, and I would rather see more people doing that than staying in a version of hard that is really even more difficult to get out of. A mentor once said to me that we can't see the label from inside our own jar.
I
And that's
love
why
it.
we need people like you and me, because you need
Yeah,
somebody that can see the outside of the jar. They can read your label,
absolutely.
they can see what's going on, and they can help you to unscrew the lid yourself so that you can get out of the jar
I
and
love that.
expand. And yeah, that's something that's just always stuck with me, that
Right.
idea that you can't see your own label.
Totally. And it's just, like to come to the awareness that no matter how great everybody is as the expert, we all want to have somebody by our sides because we were not wired to see this, without somebody's help.
Yeah.
Because that's how we are as human beings. Although we all have the
Mhm.
answers inside of us, but it always takes another person to ask us the right questions in order to pull these answers from us and
Yeah,
just hold that energy and presence for us.
absolutely. And I
I
think,
just,
sorry, go
yeah.
on.
No, no, I said I just love this conversation.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I think it's really important as mentors, as coaches, that we also share how important it is for us to have that support as well. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I couldn't do my job. I couldn't be there and serve my clients on a mindset level if I wasn't also being supported on a mindset
Absolutely.
level, because as you said right at the start, we're all a work in progress,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what makes us all individually our own masterpiece. And as you said, we all have the answers in us. Sometimes
Totally.
we in fact all the time we need someone else to just ask the right question
Mm-hmm.
or say something in a way that we haven't heard before. And that's why these spaces and everything that you're doing, with the masterclass series at the moment is so important, because even if you've done this work before, it might just be one person that says something in a different way
Mm-hmm.
that that switches the light bulb on for you. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's never a case of redoing stuff. It's never a case of I've done that tick. I don't need
Totally.
to do that again. It's being in these spaces is so important, because you just never know when someone says something that's going to hit differently, because you're
Mm-hmm.
not the same person that you were last year or 5 years ago or even yesterday. And so
Totally.
maybe you did a bunch of mindset stuff a couple of years ago, but that doesn't mean that it's not time to revisit, because you can hear the same thing over and over again, and it can only mean something when you're ready to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why these spaces and these conversations are so important.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. Well, Kayleigh, thanks so much for this beautiful conversation. And for everybody, join the beautiful masterclass as well as check out the links and
Absolutely.
connect with Kayleigh and just, like be a part of that. Because, like I said, together we are super powerful. We are never meant to do something on our own, although we were trained that we have to be independent and we do not require any help. But we are actually teaching you to relearn that belief and to
Mhm.
understand that together, when we are connected, we are more powerful because we are all one. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for this beautiful conversation. For everybody to register for the masterclass, check the links, connect with Kayleigh, and see you on the next episode.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Bye.